I'm back today to do 2 book reviews of books that have been published in Denmark in February. And the books I'm going to review are first City on Fire by Garth Hallberg, as well as Me Without You by Kelly Rimmer. These 2 books have already been published in English, so if you are sitting out there and if you are not from Denmark, you can still go out and get these books because they are available to everyone else. It's just in Denmark that they have been published in February. I'm going to start with the biggest elephant in the room, and that is City on Fire by Garth Hallberg, a 1000-page book. And before I put it up on the shelves, I would like to show you that this is a book that contains prose, but also these in-between chapters, which are different genres, with pictures, with letters, with diary entries, everything that you can think of. So that is quite interesting. It's nothing new, but it adds a new dimension to the story, I think. I'm pretty sure this one could knock me out if it fell down on me, so I hope this works. This is a book that takes place in New York in the 1970s and in the years going up to that decade. I think it is about 5 or 6 characters that we meet and follow. They don't necessarily know each other, but they all live in or around the same city, and that is New York City. This book also leads up to the big date, which is July the 13th of 1977, because that's when there was a huge blackout happening in New York City. And I was looking out for that blackout because I thought it sounded pretty neat to read about that one. But if you are going to read this book, you need to know that the blackout won't happen until the very last 200 pages. So patience, patience. This story also revolves around a murder which takes place in Central Park one night. And one of our characters finds this girl who is dead, or actually maybe she's not dead. You will figure out. But she's lying in the snow, there's blood everywhere, and he has no clue what has happened. So this is both a story about the blackout in New York, but it's also a crime and kind of a detective story. Now, my personal thoughts. First of all, a very thorough story. You get into all the details, you get into all the characters, and there's nothing left out. It's 1000 pages long, so you are able to dive into the story and really get to know everyone. But one of my biggest worries about this book was that I wasn't really connected with any of the characters, which is quite a problem because while I was interested to read about them, I didn't feel like I needed to know what was happening to them. And I was also slightly disappointed in the fact that this book turned into more of a detective novel, because I'm not much into detective stories. I was hoping that it would just be a story about these characters and their lives and how they all entwined, and I would be perfectly happy with that. But the crime story did add a new dimension to the story, and it was highly entertaining and quite hilarious at times, even though you wouldn't expect that. All in all, I appreciated this book, but I didn't love it. I did feel like it was slightly too long. Was it necessary to write 1000 pages on these characters and this story in order to get the point through? I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure. In the end, I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. It's definitely worth a read, and especially if you like crime stories, I think this one will be one for you. And also, you need to appreciate the fact that this book took Garth Hallberg 15 years to write. And I love it when my authors are thorough, because I love reading those kinds of stories. Normally you can sense it when reading it that this has been worked on a lot. It's just a great reading experience, I think. Now let's move on to the second book, which is obviously Me Without You by Kelly Rimmer. And I'm smiling because I need to tell you something. First of all, if you have already read this book and loved it, please don't watch my review, because I'm about to slaughter it, basically. I didn't really care for this one. Basically, this is about 2 main characters who meet on a boat and fall in love. The man is very much falling in love. The woman is more hesitant, and the man can't figure out why that is. She keeps stepping back, she keeps avoiding him, even though he knows that she loves him as well. So it's a big mystery. I think it says so on the back. No. Yeah, it does say something about the main character Lila, our woman, being ill, and that's the reason why she steps back and doesn't really want to get too involved with this man. First of all, let me get something straight. I don't like slaughtering books. I appreciate every book that I read because I know that they have been thought about a lot, they have been worked on for many years. The author has been putting his or her heart into the story for a long time, and I fully appreciate that. But the thing about this novel is that it was everything that I dislike in a book. This is such a cliche. If you think about a story in which one of the main characters is ill and the other one is falling in love with the main character, then I'm pretty sure you can guess what will happen and how everything will end, and yes, you will be absolutely correct. Especially the first chapter in this novel stood out to me because it was way too predictable and way too unbelievable. The two characters meet, they fall in love in one day, they talk about things that you wouldn't talk about on your first meeting. They include other characters in their discussions because that's what you normally do. You talk on a boat and then suddenly everyone is participating in your conversation. I didn't like it. It was way too unbelievable. It felt like Kelly Rimmer was trying to force the plot on you so that you could move it forward, and it didn't feel believable to me. I continued reading. I could predict the scenes. I knew, okay, this is where the author might stop up and try and explain this scene or describe it, and that happened. I mean, I could have written this book myself, it seemed. I continued reading. The chapters became more and more silly, more and more predictable. I did not like it. Halfway through the book, I decided to skim read the ending and see if my predictions were correct, and obviously they were. So I decided to actually put down the book. I DNF'd it, and I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I just couldn't do it. I was kind of furious about the story, and I did write down some notes, long dialogues that didn't make sense or were credible. Kelly Rimmer has a way of making the man stop up all the time and think about his life, his thoughts, his situation, and I was like, try and live, for God's sake, try and just live every day, breathe every day. Do not stop up and think about what is happening all the time. It was so annoying. Basically, this book is primarily written in the point of view of the man, but we do get some diary entries from Lila, the woman, in between the chapters. And once again, if you had to guess what these diary entries would contain, then I'm pretty sure you would guess it right because it was so predictable. Anyway, jokes are repeated all over and over again. And I was like, it's not funny anymore. You mentioned it already 5 times. It was funny the first time, maybe the second time around, but the 10th time, no, I'm not buying into this. Needless to say, I gave this novel 1 out of 5 stars, which was actually my first 1 out of 5 stars of 2016. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. And that is it for my 2 book reviews of the books that were released in Denmark in February of 2016. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day, everyone. Happy reading. Bye bye.